Hi, welcome to the Intervention channel. My name is Steve Bruno. Today's subject is sources of information. And what I'm referring to is, who do you listen to? What do you read about doing an intervention? How do you get data that's good, data that's useful, workable data on how to help the one you love, or if you're a professional, how to help your potential client arrive at your program? Right? If they have to do an intervention, how do you impart good advice that isn't just some random advice from somebody sitting in an armchair in an office who's never done an intervention before, or somebody sitting in an Al-Anon meeting? You know, that's like asking an angry mob for directions. Somebody could kind of come up to you, well, we did an intervention on our uncle and, you know, it didn't really work. I don't think interventions work. I am a good source. I have a very high success rate. I've done hundreds of interventions. I've got decades under my belt as a drug addict. So I know the neighborhood. So this is certainly one good source, but I want to make a point. This is not about me. This is about you winning the game. So do you listen to the person at the Al-Anon meeting who's done one intervention and failed? You might want to look at the stats there, you know, not great stats, right? So not a great success rate. Even if they've done 2 interventions and failed. Still, if they failed, it's probably not the person you want to listen to. Books on the subject. You've got to be careful about books on the subject. Even the original book, Intervention, by Dr. Vernon Johnson, most people don't know he's a doctor of divinity. He's a priest or a pastor. And he wrote a book on intervention. There is about 20 pages of intervention theory in that book. And it actually launched into the Johnson model and what later became the Minnesota model. And I think there's some data in there that's useful, but a lot of it isn't. I'll give you an example. He says not to have other addicts or alcoholics during the intervention as part of the intervention, you know, for the addict you're trying to help. And I had to do an intervention in Georgia. The guy was living with his father. His father was a blackout drunk. And I worked with his dad beautifully. I manipulated the situation, a bit, you know, admittedly. But he found out that his kid was stealing money from him. And I showed him pictures of how beautiful this place was that the mother and sister were offering to him. And I had him in a raging fury. Within a few minutes, he goes into the house. He says, wait out here. And he goes into the house, and then his son comes flying out of the side door, you know, carrying his shirt, and he walks over to me, and he gets in the car, sits down, and he looks over at me, he says, well, so what are we doing? Where are we going? So it was like that. Okay? And the father was a blackout drunk. I worked with him just fine. So you've got to be careful about where you get your advice and what advice you take. And I'm not saying that I'm the be-all, end-all of intervention wisdom, but I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So one other thing I got to say is that watching the television show, the most popular television show on the subject of intervention, that is not a documentary. That is not an educational show. Okay? Please hear me. That show is what's called a documentary-like program. So it looks like a documentary, but it isn't a documentary. And I'll give you an example. The first scene of the first show, of that show I watched, the cameraman was following this girl around as she smoked meth. So you think that's a documentary? Or you think it's a contrived, produced, okay, what we're going to do is you're going to smoke meth, and then we're going to follow you around with the camera. You okay? All right, we got you. You know, that's a production for entertainment, for shock value. I dread what's on the editing room floor of that show. How many lives they've probably interfered with, and anyway, I don't really know. I don't want to talk myself out of maybe being on one of the episodes someday. But I would not use that show as a source of data. What you want is you want somebody who has experience as an addict and a lot of experience successfully doing interventions. Not someone who says they do interventions and then you find out they've done 10 and 3 of them went in. That's not an interventionist. Okay, you want someone who's done a lot, probably at least 100, and has a very high success rate. That's the guy or woman that you want to talk to. That's where you want to get your data. And remember, there is no one way to do an intervention. There are, playing chess, how many ways are there to win chess? One? No, there's like thousands of ways you can win a chess game. Same thing goes for an intervention. I've done hundreds already, and maybe I'll do hundreds more, I don't know. Hopefully I live that long to help that many people. And each story is going to be different. Okay? So your story of helping the one that you're trying to help is yours to write. You want to do what works. So get your information from somebody who knows what they're doing. At the end of this video that's coming up, there'll be a next video. Click on that, learn some more. These are only, 5 to 7 minutes long. Learn some more data. Get educated, subscribe. If you're a professional, subscribe. I put up these videos for a reason, so that you can help the people you're trying to help, and that if you're trying to help someone in your life that you love and you care about and who's off the rails, watch all the videos. Buy my book. It's on Amazon. It's called More Than Hope. I'll put up a graphic. Buy the book. Read some more information about it. You can click the link below. I'll put one there for the Amazon thing. If you have a question, post it in the comments section so that everybody can see the answer. If you want to ask me privately, go to my website, stevebruno.com. You can call me. You can text me. There's a contact form you can fill out. All kinds of ways to get some good information there. So I'm always happy to help in any way I can. Okay, well, thanks for watching the Intervention channel. I'm Steve Bruno, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, see you then.